give a 5.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Jaya.
And I'm Venk. And this is
the
the
reality Hey.
So this show is all about everything Real Housewives, and specifically the magic that is the new Real
Housewives of Salt Lake
City.
Yes.
Ciudad. Let's dive right into it. Let's talk about the fabulous cast. Let's start with the beautiful and lovely Lisa Barlow.
Lisa Barlow, the Queen of Mormons.
The Queen of the Mormons. She's very, I'm going to say she's extremely judgmental.
Yes, but she owns a tequila company.
But which is also extremely hypocritical.
Right, but she's a modern Mormon. I didn't know there were modern Mormons, but
I mean, I thought Mormons were modern already. But just a little humor. Next up, we have the wonderful Mary Crosby, no relation to Bill. And who, Jaya, do you know who she's married to?
Well, the big hot topic is that she is married to her step grandfather,
which is totally, completely normal.
No, really.
Mary Crosby is an interesting, she's a preacher, she's not Mormon. She is also married to her step grandfather because in the will, her grandmother said she bequeathed her granddaughter to him. So they had, God to keep it in the family.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we understand that. We're Indian.
We're Indian.
We keep it in the family sometimes.
Keep it in the family. Heather Gay, because she loves the gays.
Heather Gay. I
adore. Heather Gay.
Your favorite, what I think is the narrator of the show.
She's one of my favorites.
I like her too.
She had a divorce, so she left the church.
Previously married to what she says is Mormon royalty.
Yes. So she left the church. She's very LGBT friendly. She's a BLM, right?
She's still Mormon. She still abides by the rules, apparently.
Yeah.
And she has a med spa business, correct? So
yes, she has the med spa.
Yes.
Next up, we have the lovely Meredith Marks. If you want to talk a little bit about your favorite.
Meredith Marks. She might be my favorite. First of all, she's from Chicago, Vank. From Chicago.
Represent.
But she likes Utah. Has a jewelry line, correct? She has 2 children who we've met, right? And we like very much from what we've seen.
Very sassy.
She's sassy, but she's also the son is very sassy. Yes, opinionated.
The son is very.
Right? Yeah. She is separated from her husband, we're finding, and I think she's the most down to earth besides Heather.
I would, and when I find a most grounded housewife, I generally think of them as the narrator of the show. Every show has the most grounded housewife, as grounded as they can be.
Right, but now I think the narrator of the show is Heather.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Well, because she hasn't had. She hasn't. Well, we'll get to that. But yes, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, and I might actually change my opinion. Next up, we have
Whitney.
Whitney Rose, who is one of the youngest housewives at age 34 of this franchise. She's also
excommunicated.
She's also excommunicated because she left her husband because she was having an affair and married the man she was having an affair with, and thus making her a grandmother, a step grandmother.
34-year-old grandmother.
She probably has a lot in common with her stepdaughter or stepson because she's probably the same age. Then
very active on the poll as well. Very active on the poll.
Next up, last but certainly not least, we have Jen Shah, Muslim in Mormon country.
That's right. Muslim and Mormon country, Tongan and Hawaiian. Many opinions, businesswoman married to a football coach. Um,
Not very often.
not home often, very needy.
Yeah, very
Finding
needy.
very needy.
Great briefing on the cast, if I do say so myself, and I just did.
Should we dive in?
Let's talk about the drama so far in the last 4 episodes, and then the drama that we think is about to happen in the following episodes.
So here's the thing. We'll start off with the first, very beginning, which is we're introduced to the characters, and some of the first issues that arise are between Lisa Barlow and Heather Gay, right?
Yep.
So Lisa Barlow, Heather Gay, both went to BYU, and what we're understanding from Heather's side of the story, they're friends, but Lisa seems to not
Does
know
not
Heather
know
in
she
college, except
exists.
has heard of her and says she's a little loosey goosey with the reveal of the boobs. I mean, so many people did so much worse in college.
I think she's definitely hating on Heather because Heather's no longer she was excommunicated, and Lisa prides herself on being the queen of the Mormons, except owns a tequila company, hypocritical much. I do say so.
It seems like everybody wants in with her because of her tequila line, and it gets her into all the Sundance parties, apparently.
I mean, and if you've been to a Sundance party, you know how great they can be.
She also doesn't cook, and they eat fast food all the time.
I mean,
Do you remember that?
and that's classy. Yeah, I did see that. That's
class. So, anywho, they have this issue where Heather seems to think that they're good friends, but Lisa doesn't seem to think they're good friends. It's this weird situation. It's a popularity contest, is what it looks like to me.
Completely, and she thinks she's better. I think it's completely.
Lisa thinks she's the queen, right? So she's trying to
feel
place herself as like the important person of the group, right?
And I slightly manufactured, I feel it was, but like I think they're about the drama. But you know what? That idea of hierarchy led to the real drama that I think what is the forced fight, because it makes no sense, between Mary Crosby and Miss Jen Shah.
Right,
Hospital
and involves Meredith Marks, right? Well, first of all, Jen Shah's birthday party for Meredith Marks was not for Meredith Marks. It was for Jen Shah.
Not at all.
Mary Cosby, I mean, she's something, okay? She is a character within herself, from her outfits to for her, I don't mean to say this, but a bit twitchy behavior. Like she's just a bizarre little character, right?
She's like a little elf that has been wound up. She's a little elf that has been wound up. I mean, she must burn so many calories. She's so skinny. She burns a lot of calories just talking and moving and just being like.
She moves a lot.
Energizer.
She's energized.
Wish I could burn calories.
Yes. And but is very nice. So what I'm gathering from her, she doesn't reveal a lot. I think, she does have to defend the fact that she's married to her step grandfather, which has to be a little odd.
Yeah. A little?
I mean, it is. It is a little odd, right? And she was friends with Jen, but then I guess referred to offended Jen. That's the correct term.
She offended Jen.
She offended Jen because Jen's aunt was in the hospital having her legs amputated, which is awful. And somehow she smelled hospital on Mary, which I don't know what hospital smells. I know what hospital smells. Children of doctors. We know what hospital smells like.
Look at us now.
But I didn't know it was a scent.
No, neither did I. A scent that carried. I thought once you left the hospital, like you air out a bit, you don't smell like hospital anymore.
I don't. When my dad would come home from the hospital and I hugged him, I definitely didn't smell hospital on him.
And at the hospital all the time, which
is
right.
Like my dad spent 7 days a week in a hospital, and I definitely didn't smell hospital like a Gap scent. Like
90s Gap scent.
Like the 90s Gap scent. There was grass, there were ocean sky or whatever it is the Gap had. but I guess there was hospital scent.
What I'm trying to figure out is the
Jen
connection.
stocked up on it,
Yeah,
on it apparently.
so Mary said it smelled like hospital. Jen went crazy because she like was like, how could you say that? First of all, how did Mary even know that her aunt was getting her? Like, there's like no reason for
Maybe
Jen.
right, and maybe she knew, I don't know, but either way, it wasn't, to me, outside looking in, not something that's offensive and directed towards her poor aunt that was having her legs amputated. So
But
there's
Mary,
I'm
yeah,
not quite sure where the drama's coming from. Like, it's like, wait, I don't even understand why this is such a huge fight and so offensive to Jen.
and what's important to note is that Mary at that party where she said it then apologized in the other room. So we're thinking this
In
whole
her weird
thing
tutu
situation is
outfit, by the
we
way.
think this whole situation is deaded, but it comes back and then it comes back in full force and it involves Heather having to choose sides. Like this is a childhood.
Not Heather. Well,
Oh,
Heather, yes, but also Meredith Marks.
sorry, Meredith Marks. Meredith Marks. That's the prime target. It was Jen. Jen went off again at the latest. Jen went off again, called Mary a grandfather MFer, which Mary made sure to say grandfather MFer at least 5+ times, which didn't help us forgetting the fact that she is still married to her step
I
grandfather.
know.
We really would like all to forget. But
Because
she
then when she keeps reminding you, you keep thinking about it and you're like, but isn't that weird?
and
Right? Like in my mind, I'm like, because it's weird. Because actually, like, if my grandmother were remarried and she asked that of me, it would be weird.
well,
Like,
she passed away, but Mary was gifted in the will. And I want to so many questions, so little
right,
time.
right.
So this is that so then it was like Jen unleashed on Meredith. You have to choose. You have to choose, throwing like really one of those crazy, like ridiculous, almost
The temper
staged
tantrum was
performances.
outrageous. Right.
Yeah, it was outrageous. And this was at whose party? This was at
Whitney Rose's
Whitney
little
Rose's
speakeasy party.
speakeasy. Yeah. I love how everything is surrounding alcohol and
I
salt
know, with these Mormon women.
because they're showing us it. Things are a lot more dramatic than we thought in Utah, honey. Utah.
So here's the thing about Jen. So, okay, so we have this like dramatic. Here's the thing I find about Jen. Jen is very needy. She's a
Yeah.
needy person. And we're realizing that because her husband is never around. He seems to be gone a lot, which, if we look back at other housewives, when the husband is gone a lot, never is good. Right? Like,
Never.
I feel like the history of housewives, husband not in the picture, husband ends up not being in the picture forever.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh
Like that's
yeah.
always coming.
There's like I don't want to send out bad vibes, but I
Yeah,
feel
but
like
I always feel like when the husband's not in the picture, there's like he's not in the picture because he doesn't want to be. So we're finding that Jen's husband is not in the picture a lot.
but coaches her. He's her. Not only is he a coach in real life, he's her personal coach in the
Personal coach also picks her up and whatever, but he's not around, right? And so therefore she's very needy. So she's needy of her friends in a way. She's like looking for that partner in a friendship, which seems to be unhealthy. And it seems like people, and she's also unbalanced. Like you see the friends say, like, when I'm with Jen, she can get like this. I just
They
want
have
to
to
fight
walk
it
on
out,
eggshells with her.
you know, what have you. So she gets mad at, so Mary makes a comment about hospitals. Suddenly it's offensive to her in a personal way. We're not quite understanding it. She's not over it. There's something, there's a bigger picture there,
And so
right?
the bigger picture is then, in my opinion, what I'm seeing is that we're setting up, because this was stated twice by Mary, that it's about who's the top dog. It's
Right.
about who's the leader. So the real fight was never about between
Mary and Jen and the hospital smell, but it's about who's the most important and who's going to be the big dog in this, right?
and that's why I think. But at the first two episodes between Lisa and
Heather.
Heather, see, they were trying to figure out what the storyline was, and it wasn't going to be those two vying, competing, and having picking sides. But I think what we've seen is now it's definitely
Mary
between
and
Jen.
Jen, correct.
And the
And then
fight,
the other thing about Jen, when she brings in Meredith, like she's becomes very attached and kind of glomps onto Meredith and is very needy and wants the sleepover. I mean, I don't the sleepover in our 40s. I don't know. I don't get it. Like I'm like,
I mean, yeah, that was weird, and then also her inappropriate behavior. So
well,
we're
and getting mad at Meredith for canceling the sleepover, like to me, I just felt like it was outrageous. But there's more to it, right? I'm needy. I need you to be on my side. I need you to step in line. And how they've chosen Mary to be one of the like, is it Mary or is it Jen? Who's
well, they
top dog?
forced
And
the
like such odd choices.
they,
Like,
they forced the audience to pick between two women who's, I'm sorry, as a stylist, like, oh my God, with all this money and you still can't find the right outfits, girls.
these
All
women.
across the board.
I mean,
Not
their
only
outfits are awful. I mean, like
like,
truly, like the way they
this,
dress, but they've got like Chanel everywhere, but it's like half the time one's dressed as Big Bird or like a flamingo. The other one's like, it covered. My favorite was the Met Gala. The Met,
these
the
women
Met Gala with the toy soldiers, which also like half-assed bad toy soldiers.
it
But
literally it literally was they've heard the word Met Gala, but they decided not to do any research.
well, we can't say they because I feel like the rest of the women were like, what? Like, I guess Mary thinks Met
Oh
Gala
yes.
means fancy, and they're like, okay, like it's noon and I'm supposed to dress for the Met Gala. And like, also, what? But so
And there was no theme.
right.
Met Gala has a theme every year. What like
Right,
what?
basically,
What
like
is that?
Mary doesn't know what she's talking about. So she rolls out a red carpet, dresses people up like soldiers. Then, I mean, it looked very nice, like a very nice luncheon, but like
A luncheon
not
overly dressed.
Met Gala. Um, I mean, and then
I
they're
think
up, it's like, what? And
I
then
think
my
yeah.
favorite was the gifts, like the Louis Vuitton, the Louis Vuitton headphones and like
No.
the journals. I mean, it was
And then they had to go around and share their feelings, which really was like we're like, okay, we get it, but we know what's brewing. And
but also my favorite was like Mary was like, but I'll go first because it's my luncheon. I'll go first. And it was like,
okay, we get it, Mary. We get it. Along with your outfit, we got you. She does the most. I think we were really setting up for a really crazy
I
season.
hope it's crazy. I hope that it's enough to keep me going because we've had some, I feel like the Real Housewives, when it comes to the series, we've had some like duds. Beverly Hills.
And New York was pretty boring.
New York was pretty boring. I mean, I feel like a lot of it is we're kind of tired of the same characters. And so this is exciting because we have a new series with crazy people that I think could be really fun. I just hope that a lot of I hope it's not manufactured.
Yeah, I hope so too. But it's like the whatever 100th franchise of the Real Housewives. But let's give it up for our first episode of the
reality hate. Beep, 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 beep.
So next time, are my eyes red? Okay,
No.
we're good. Okay. Oh my God, I'm sorry, and you're recording.